Hi guys, welcome back. Now we will learn here about login. In the previous videos you have seen how we can register the username and the password, and that will be inserted into the database, and then now we are going to use the same username and password that we have created last time to insert in our database, and then we will retrieve as a login. So we will develop the application here for the login page. So first of all, what you have to do is we are going to create the interface. So we have already created the form structure here previously. So we have this register interface. The easiest way is just simply copy and then you go here and then just paste it. The name is coming like this. It's a very simple method to do that. So do this login interface. Now when you do that login interface exactly copy paste, there are some other fields will be coming. So we have registered as the email and the password. So what we will do over here is actually we are going to replace some of the specific things. So what we will do, we will remove this name section and we will remove this password section, phone section. Now we are going to use the login method. So we will change it simple to the login. Okay, and we are having here user register file. So I have already the file over here which is user login. I will simply use that and then we will simply go here. Now user login page is there. Now once you see that, if we enter that correct username and the password, the login successfully, and then method, these are the values. So if you do not know what exactly it is, I will show you in another video what exactly it is. It is actually called a JSON method. This is JSON key, this is JSON value. So like this there can be various keys and various values. And there are two types of things called the JSON array and the JSON object. We will see it in another video. So now we have already the email and the password. We have already created the login interface. Now the next step for us is to go to our user login XML file. We go over here and we see that email is being defined, the ID we have given it here. We will integrate the progress bar. So what we gonna do is we will add on the progress bar so that user can know something is happening over here. So I will put it as like match parent wrap content, or I will put it here wrap content only, no need to go into the big section, Android :ID, and I will show it as progress, and then it will be done. I will just close this progress bar. Now we going back to our Java section. Now the actual work starts over here. Now first thing what we're gonna do is we will use this edit text sections. So what we're gonna do is just like the way we have alias defined it. So we edit text and we do it et email comma et password. Once we're done here, we will also use a error method. If you remember that in the previous registers page, we have that red color message comes like registration successfully or not. So for that what we can do, we can simply go to this section and we will copy this error section text view, and we can come back to our login section and we will put it on the top so that we can simply see if there is any error coming. So for implementation of this also we will put it as a text view and then we will put it as TV error. After doing that, what we're gonna do is the next thing is we are going to define it first. So we are going to define like the same way as we have done it for the register button. We will go for the button login, because we will click on this login button and then we will go to the will do the process of login. So equals to find view by ID r.id dot button login. Okay, and then once you define it for the edit text also. So et email equals to find view by ID r.id dot et email and then semicolon. Same thing we're gonna do it for et password equals to find view by ID r.id dot et password, and then we close it. Same thing we're going to do for our text view. So TV error equals to find view by id r.id dot TV error and then semicolon. Now we will create the listener for the login button. So button login dot set on click listener new view on click listener. Here what we are going to do, we are going to get the values just the way we are getting the values from the registration form. Same way we are going to get the values from these two fields and then we will put it into the string variable. So there should be needed two string variable. So what we can do is string st email comma st password. After doing that, we are going to the next section and then we are going to check it either the values are correct or not. Okay. So if means the user is entering the value, just like we are checking the validation, you have not entered your email, you have not entered your password and you still want to log in, how can you do that? You cannot. So we are put a validation. So if st email, or before doing that what we have to do is take the variable into the string form. So st email equals to et email dot get text dot to string. So what we are going to do, just like in the previous example, st password equals to et password dot get text dot to string and then semicolon. Now we are going to check either these string variables are having values or not. So if st email dot equals with empty and st password dot equals and double quotes, then we are going to show some message to the user. So where we are going to show that message? TV error. Where? In the text view. So set text and then we will say please enter email and password. Else the same way login user. This is a method actually. We are going to create this method now. So come out of it and then we are going to define the method. To defining that method, private void, because it's not going to return any values, login user and simply. So you are not going to do like this. Yeah, simple. Now the method is being defined. What we're going to do is retrofit, then retrofit equals to new retrofit dot builder, then next is base URL and then base URL just the way we have defined as earlier base URL, and into the next line dot add converter factory. Into that we will put it as a scalars converter factory, just like that previous one. We are doing a post request only here actually, and then go to the next and we put it as a build and then semicolon. It is showing you message like this. So what is saying, create a constant field into the into this one. So we don't have to do this actually. The reason it is showing something like this, because it's not fetching that particular base URL. So what you have to do is actually you have to import the login registration interface factory kind of things, means something we have to import it. So go to the top on it, and if you have not implemented, then you can see that com.login registration as API as base URL, and then type it here. Excuse me. Okay. So we will do that simple base URL. If it doesn't work, that doesn't symbols, what happens that this base URL is actually not able to properly detect it. So we can check it out, either we want to import it here, or either if it is giving error, just simply, it can happen in a different scenarios, so you can simply remove it. So alt enter. Once you do that, it's come. So what happens when sometimes it's automatically implemented, then it will give you error. Now it's automatically coming perfectly fine here. So if you feel error sometimes when you're using the base URL, at that time you can use this kind of method. Now going to the next step of it is we are going to use the login interface API, this one. So we're going back here, login interface, okay, and then name it as just like some API or something, okay, retrofit, that upper one we have created, dot create, and then login interface dot class. Is also the same request, just like the main activity in the here. You can see that here what we have done it here in the previous example, just like that. So if you want to do copy paste also you can do, but I will suggest you see this video. I will just type it over here. So call string, and then I will put it as a call equals to API, and the method which we have defined, that get user login. In that we will pass that st email comma st password. If once you make this kind of application, it will be easy for making any feature application. So you have to import this class. Once you import this class, go to the second line and call dot enqueue. In that you type it and new callback string. Automatically all things will be created here. Just press the enter. Now after doing that, what we have to check it, the response. The response is of what? This response, whatever the response is coming from here. Now next section what we're gonna do is if response dot is successful, means there is no error. So what we can do, we are going to use this method. So what we'll do is string JSON response. Why I'm putting as a JSON response? Because the response is coming into the form of JSON, okay, and then equals to response dot body. Body is whatever the contents coming. You have to one more thing, be careful. Before putting this JSON response or something, you have to check it that JSON response body is not null, means it should giving some value. If it is not giving value and it is completely empty, then you have to verify and check it. So for that you have to put one more validation here, is response dot, just the body you are using, body not equals to null. You have to check it very carefully, because if you not check it for the null section, then it will give you error. Then I will write one method that will be parse login data, or you can put it any method. I will put it as a data, and in that you will put it as JSON response. Now rest of the coding we will do later. For this section, about in case of failure, we will create this method first. So for that we are here into this section, so we will create it another method, and that is called the parse login data. So private void method, and then simply, and whatever the value is here, so here the same thing you are going to get it. So string JSON response, or you can put it response, up to you, totally depending on you, whatever the value you would like to have it. And then if it is giving you some kind of error, then saying create variable, local variable response, not to worry about it, it will work, okay. Now once we're done here, we just put it here, okay. We are inside the bracket, so we have to be careful what brackets is closing where. Now in case of failure, we can put some message here that just like the way we are defining here, error. So we will use this concept. I'll just copy it here, and then I will just simply put it here like else, so that user should know something is there, and then error. I'll say na, like no values returned by server. Done. I'll copy it again and I will just bring it here, failure. So in the case of failure, what we can do is we can again say that error occurred during login. Done. So once it is done, we go to the next section. Now we are going to parse this value. Parse this value means we are using this value to validate it and go to the next screen. So we are using the try catch block. If you are aware about Java, you can see that. Otherwise, you can learn the Java from some sources and then you can simply practice it. So here I will put it as JSON exception and just put it as E and then open and close bracket. Now we are going to do some coding over here. We will put it as JSON object, we put it as a JSON object, okay, equals to new JSON object, and in that we will type it as a response value, whatever the response value coming. Why putting as a JSON object? Because we are having into the JSON object. I'll make a video on it, so where I can explain you what is JSON array and JSON object and everything. So after doing that, we go to that if status, this is the key. So if status is true, so what we're gonna do is JSON object dot get string, and the string name is status dot equals status, and then we type it as like, oh, we have taken the boolean, we have to take it as a string. We have to be very careful what kind of values are being returned, equals, and then we are going to true. So if it is like this, what's the next thing you can do? You can simply say that yeah, it is being logged in, and I will create one intent. Simply use that intent here, okay. I will copy this intent and we will see how we are going to. So if it is true, simple, nothing to worry about it, is simple. Otherwise, if you give you some error, so you can just simply copy it here and you show it some text here. Error occurred during login. We can correct over here also, error occurred during login, and then we can simply check it out. Now one more important thing, the most important thing that you have remember, that we are having this error here. So I will just remove this. This is the login 2 times. I have to use this progress bar, otherwise how the user is going to know something is happening? So for that, what we're gonna do is we are going to implement is progress bar and PB progress bar, okay, and the same thing we are going to define it here. Progress bar is equals to find view by ID r dot id dot the whatever the ID we have given. What ID we have given here for the progress bar? Simple progress. I will just put it here. Have to be very careful regarding the IDs. So we don't want that immediately that ID to be the things to be visible, because right now we have implemented this thing. If you want to do, for example, I will show you, as I have shown you into the register form, how we can be careful not to show immediately the progress bar. So what I will do, the progress bar we have this thing, so what I will do, I will hide it. Progress bar dot set visibility dot view dot gone, okay, and the same thing we can use it implementation here to show. So view dot visible, okay, and then again I will use it here. In case it is showing there, I will just hide it. Wherever it is not required, I will just hide it. So if there is any error coming or something. Now one more thing, that I don't want it to go back to main activity. So what I will do, I will create one simple activity here and then make it as an empty activity and name it as like some dashboard. Just make an activity just so that we can redirect on it, and so that whenever the application is completed, we can simply jump to the next activity and we can simply see that yeah, some values are there, and we can simply understand with the help of that the value is being into the next section going away. So right now is getting as a dashboard, okay. We can name some activity file, whatever the file name here, that activity, and I will just put one text view here. So once the text view over here, we can simply do that or make it some simple text view. Match parent, wrap content, close it, and we will say Android colon text, and we will name it as like profile page. Just that's all. We have this something profile page, it will show. So if you see this kind of messaging, missing constant layout or something like that, not to worry about that. You can just simply go back and wait for a while, because it's still into the building section. So once it is your profile page is completely building, because it says that no layout fine, so you can simply convert into some view to the linear layout or something like that. Up to you. You can simply do that. So now it's a profile page. Now what we're gonna do is, we have already all the methods ready here. You can simply see that login, we have that login user, enter email and password. We are checking with the login interface, email and the password we are going to enter, and then we are going to simply implement it. So what I'm going to do is simply run the application, and we wait for it, and we will enter the same username and the ID which we have seen here. In the previous videos we have seen that test@gmail.com and @password123, whatever the password we have created here. So I am on that particular page. Now the page is the application is about to run. When the application runs, we go to the login page, and I will use that simple test@gmail. I already have, so I'll just type it here, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'll just minimize it here. Simple. See, the login is successful. If you want to show some toast message, you can simply show or not. Otherwise, if you want to go back and you want to enter some wrong thing, it will see. You'll get automatically the message and everything. So if you are entering correct details, automatically the details will be entered here. Whatever the password if I have entered, if it is wrong, right, whatever the things, you will simply get the message regarding the same thing. So that's all in this videos, guys. See you in another video. Keep in touch, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel for more amazing and knowledgeable videos. Thanks, guys.